Hey kids, Hugh here for Roaddogs.com. Miss Lynn and I are standing here at the Blaine Marine Park, just south of the Canadian border in Blaine, Washington. You can see in the background the border crossing and what is known as the Peace Arch Memorial, right on the border with Canada. We're glad you're joining us for our new adventures on the Road Dogs Travels. We're relaunching our site in mid-May, and today we are kicking off our trip where we are going to come down the coast and photograph everything we can and show you all that we can from both the air and the ground. So I hope you enjoy the new Roaddogs.com and the Road Dogs Travels, and come along for the ride. It should be fun. So this is me and Miss Lynn saying, welcome, let's go have an adventure. So there we were, kicking off the new Roaddogs.com, and excited to be back on the road again. Even though the sky was cold, dreary, and not quite what we had envisioned for this new start, we were ready to give it our all. The plan was simple enough: south on Interstate 5 to Burlington, then west on the 20, island hopping to the Port Townsend Ferry at Fort Casey. Follow the 101 to the 112 along the Strait of Juan de Fuca out to the Makah tribal lands to camp overnight at Hobuck Beach Campground. That was the plan. So we headed south, and it started to rain almost immediately, and was sporadic all the way to Burlington, where we headed west on the 20. The first part of this road travels through farmland, and that scenery quickly changes to rolling hills and forest. However, the thing that caught my attention were the signs every couple miles about the importance of having reservations for the ferry. This first day's schedule was dependent on making that ferry at 10:15, the only place on this whole trip we needed to be at a particular time. Missing it would mean having to catch the next ferry at 3:30. So Miss Lynn got on the phone and tried to make reservations, but without luck. So that with the rain coming down and the anxiety level going up, we headed directly for the ferry. By the time we arrived, the rain had stopped, and it was obvious we were going to get on. The anxiety level started to come down, but just as we were about to load, the wind and rain picked up again. My plan for the ferry ride was to get some video from the bow of the boat, but the ocean and the sky had other ideas. As the ferry approached Port Townsend, my thoughts turned to camping out in the rain and cold. I knew that was something that would not appeal to Miss Lynn. So far, nothing had gone quite as planned, and it would have been easy to become discouraged. But after all the years of talking about it, all the planning, all the hard work just to get me physically able to try this, allowing myself to become discouraged was not an option. As we disembarked the ferry, the rain stopped, and as we drove down the main street of their historical district in Port Townsend, we knew we had to take some photos. So, with the cold wind blowing, we took a walk. Port Townsend turned out to be a real pretty little town. We continued down Highway 20 to where it ends at the 101, the road we would follow for most of the trip. And as we started heading west, the rain started up again, only this time the fog was rolling in with it. By the time we hit Port Angeles, it was apparent we would not be camping out tonight, so we decided to get some lunch and adjust our plans. A quick internet search found a place that looked nice called the Crescent Lake Lodge, so we decided to head off that direction and check it out. It was a beautiful place, but as we would soon learn, many places in this part of the world are seasonal, and it did not open until May 1st. So off we headed to the next place along the road, the Soul Duck Hot Springs Resort. This time we tried to call ahead, but of course we had no cell connection. We were now out in the wilderness. Then, just before the turnoff, something happened we were really not prepared for. It began to snow. Snow! I mean, what's next? The turnoff to the Soul Duck Hot Springs Resort went into the mountains, and the sign said it was 12 miles. I don't know about you, but at this point, the prospect of driving into the mountains while it is snowing with no chains did not appeal to myself or Miss Lynn. So we turned around and headed back to the 101, where we decided we would hobble down the road to some little town find a place and call it a day. That town turned out to be Forks, Washington. Once a booming lumber town, Forks had fallen on hard times after the collapse of that industry back in the 80s. Then the movie series Twilight breathed new life into it with tourist dollars. We stopped at the Olympic Suites Inn and settled down for the night. So the first day was in the books. We did not get as many photos as I would have liked, and we only got the one drone flight. But the way I look at it is, each new dawn brings fresh hope. Battered by the weather and things not exactly going our way, we went to sleep wondering what challenges we would face tomorrow. So there you have it, a quick overview of day one of our border-to-border trip. I hope you enjoyed it and will come along for the ride on our entire adventure. I promise it is not as dreary as our first day made it seem. So until tomorrow, this is Hugh saying, see you later.